God's warning. 7 types of people you must not help. The unwilling. People who refuse to help themselves. God never blesses laziness, entitlement, or passivity. He blesses effort, faithfulness, and responsibility. When you help someone who refuses to help themselves, you interfere with divine instruction. 1. They want the outcome, not the effort. Some people want success without sacrifice, healing without change, freedom without discipline, and blessings without obedience. They ask for money, support, opportunities, or emotional labor, but they reject every instruction that leads to real transformation. God says, "If anyone is not willing to work, neither should he eat." 2 Thessalonians 3:10. Helping the unwilling enables their dysfunction. 2. You cannot want their healing more than they do. You can encourage, guide, and pray for someone, but you cannot carry them to their destiny. Some people expect you to do the emotional, financial, and spiritual labor for them. Over time, you become drained while they remain unchanged. 3. They mistake your help for obligation. The unwilling person believes your compassion is something they deserve. Instead of gratitude, they show entitlement. Instead of growth, they show dependence. 4. Your help becomes a crutch. When you keep rescuing someone who doesn't try, you prevent them from developing responsibility, maturity, strength, and problem-solving skills. You keep them stuck. God's warning. Do not help people who refuse to move. You cannot save those who choose stagnation. You cannot heal those who prefer excuses. God will not bless the hands that support what He is trying to dismantle. The ungrateful. People who receive without thinking, use without giving, and expect without appreciation. Gratitude is a mark of humility. Ungrateful people are spiritually dangerous because they drain without refilling, take without acknowledging, and use without appreciating. 1. Ungratefulness reveals the heart. Ungrateful people believe they deserve everything and owe nothing. They minimize your sacrifice and invalidate your kindness. 2. They turn blessings into expectations. What begins as a favor becomes a duty. What starts as generosity becomes you must. No matter how much you give, it is never enough. 3. Ungrateful people eventually resent the giver. This is the hidden danger. When you help ungrateful people, instead of loving you more, they begin to resent you because your help reminds them of their dependence. Your success exposes their lack of effort. Your generosity creates a standard they cannot meet. Ungratefulness soon turns into irritation. 4. They rewrite the story. Ungrateful people eventually claim they earned what you gave them, or worse, that you owed it to them. God does not bless the ungrateful. Scripture shows over and over that God withdraws favor from the unthankful. If God removes His blessing from them, why should you keep pouring yours in? God's warning. Do not help those incapable of gratitude. Your blessings deserve appreciation, not exploitation. The deceitful. People who lie, manipulate, and use emotions to control you. Some people do not want your help. They want your control. They use lies, guilt, and emotional manipulation to get what they want. 1. They weaponize emotions. Deceitful people use your kindness against you. They trigger guilt, pity, or sympathy so you comply with their agenda. Examples. If you really cared, you'd help me. Everyone else abandoned me. You're the only one left. You're cold-hearted if you say no. 2. They promise change they never intend to make. A deceitful person will cry to you, beg you, apologize, make promises, describe a new plan. But once they receive help, they return to the same behavior. 3. They drain your spirit. You always leave conversations with them feeling exhausted, confused, guilty, manipulated, emotionally heavy. That is a spiritual red flag. 4. Helping them strengthens their manipulation. The more you give, the more they take. The more you sacrifice, the more they demand. 5. Lies are the enemy's language. Deceit is never innocent. If someone's life is built on lies, manipulation, and distortion, God is not the source of their guidance. God's warning: do not help people who live by deceit. You cannot save a person who manipulates the hands trying to help them. The abusive: people who harm you emotionally, mentally, verbally, or spiritually. God does not require you to help someone who abuses you. Compassion does not mean self-destruction. Kindness does not mean tolerating cruelty. 1. Abuse comes in many forms. Abuse can look like insults, belittling, controlling behavior, threats, silent treatment, humiliation, manipulation, gaslighting, physical harm, or spiritual guilt tripping. Some abusers speak softly and hurt deeply. 2. Helping them rewards their behavior. If you keep giving, forgiving, and fixing, they never face consequences. You unintentionally validate their behavior. 3. Abuse breaks your identity. Slowly, you begin to doubt yourself. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I deserve this. Maybe I shouldn't speak up. God never created you for fear, confusion, or suffering at someone else's hands. 4. God commands you to protect yourself. God calls you to protect your heart, guard your spirit, and preserve your peace. 5. Abusers do not change by being coddled. They change when boundaries confront them, consequences reach them, and God convicts them. God's warning: do not help people who harm you. Love from a distance, pray from afar, protect yourself in the present. The chronically negative: people who poison your spirit with their constant complaining, doubting, and darkness. Not all negativity is malicious. Some people genuinely suffer. But some individuals live in perpetual negativity, rejecting every solution and draining the atmosphere. 1. Negativity contaminates your spirit. When you're around someone who always complains, always sees the worst, rejects every solution, criticizes your dreams, mocks your goals, doubts your faith, fears everything, blames others endlessly, your spirit becomes heavy. God is not the author of hopelessness. 2. They reject peace. Some people are addicted to chaos. They function only in drama, confusion, and emotional storms. 3. Every time you help, they bring new problems. These are the people who solve nothing but talk endlessly about everything. You listen, comfort, advise, encourage, pray, yet they return with the same issues over and over. 4. Their energy blocks your blessings. Negativity kills creativity, faith, motivation, clarity, peace. Someone who lives in darkness tries to dim the light in you. 5. God commands you to guard your peace. You cannot grow in a toxic environment. Negativity suffocates spiritual momentum. God's warning: do not help people who destroy your peace. Your spirit needs oxygen, not poison. The rebellious: people who reject God, His principles, and any form of accountability. Some people do not want help because they do not want God. They reject wisdom, correction, morality, accountability, and truth.